Okay, come on, accept. I press accept and it does not work. Oh, there you are.
Hello, 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 hello. Of course, I'm getting a phone call.
That's all right. I'm just going to move us down a little bit here. I have a new screen that my husband set me up with. It's like this super fancy thing. But, all right. And now I'm just going to join us here on Instagram.
And we are also live on Facebook.
All right. Hello, hello, Facebook land.
Let's go here.
Okay. I'm going to request to join. Yep. Send request.
There we go.
And it showed up here, and I accept. Okay, I should be there with you momentarily on Instagram as well.
Yay! Hello!
Hello, hello. All right, let me see if I can make this a little bit straighter. So my screen is now, I don't know, what do you call it, concave or convex or curved?
Yeah.
Good morning, my friend Jill. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Let us know, guys, if you're hearing any echo or if the sound is okay. And we are going to be talking about some challenging fabrics today.
Yes, because we all have experienced those.
Okay, actually, I am hearing echo myself. Let me lower you here and lower you here. Okay, I think we're good. And now we get started. It takes us about 2 to 3 minutes. There's nothing we can do about it. Cannot do it ahead of time at all. Thank you, Jill. Sound is great.
Great. Okay, great. That's amazing.
I love it.
Yes.
All right, Kim, you are up. You're first.
Okay, so this is a project that we here at Window Works did for Pavarini Designs, and it is like a cargo net type of fabric. I actually pulled the sample book out of our showroom so I can kind of show it to you. Harlequin. Hold on one second. A podcast is playing in my background here. I don't know why or how. My computer updated and now it's being weird. Okay, there we go. Oh, what is happening?
We're losing your sound, Kim. Something, I think it's messing with your lapel mic. Yeah, we can't hear you anymore. Lots of static. Can't hear it at all. Ah. Can you hear me now? No. Lots of static in my ears. I can hear you. Thank you, Gina. I can hear you okay, she's saying. Maybe it's just me. Can you guys on Instagram tell us if you can hear us okay? I think they're saying they can hear us, so go for it. I can't hear you here, but I can't hear you at all. Thank you, guys. They can hear you on Instagram. So we're going in on both platforms. We're broadcasting. Is it me? No, it cannot be me.
Hold
on. Oh, I just heard you fine. Nope, I cannot hear you. So you guys, while Kim's trying to figure it out, we're broadcasting on both platforms, the Instagram and Facebook. So I think on Instagram you can hear her because that's for her phone, and Facebook is for her earbuds, right? And I hear her here, or usually hear her here, and I can't hear her today. You both sound okay to me. Okay, let's try this. Let's try say something smart and funny. Okay, maybe what if I do this? Yeah? Okay, let's just keep going. I'm the only one who can hear you, so I'm not sure if we're going to manage to have a dialogue. But I can barely hear you. So you go ahead. Let's tell our audience about this great project of yours.
Right, so this project did fabric, sample,
so you could see it. see here, it's a cargo net sheer.
So with
wow, that's beautiful.
It is pretty. So imagine trying to make drapes.
I can, because my next project is going to be very similar. So you tell us about your challenges and how you guys have overcome it.
So the challenge was, what kind of pleat were we going to do with this? So we opted,
So
do a ripple fold.
Okay.
With that,
we also lined it so you could actually see and really appreciate the shearing.
Oh, because otherwise the light would come through it so much that you really wouldn't be able to appreciate the pattern itself.
You don't really see it.
Right.
So we lined it in a white. So here I have a white liner behind it. So we lined it in a white so this way you see it.
And so
we also did it as a ripple fold so that this way all we had to do was just fold it over on the back.
Yep.
So that this way we could attach the snap tape, and that's how we got around it.
So a fabric like this, I've had designers who wanted to make Roman shades out of it. And it's like, okay, we can make it, but we're going to have to add some kind of a lining to it because there's no place for us to sew the rings.
Right.
All these like open weave fabrics.
They're beautiful, but very difficult to do anything with it.
And they were such a trend.
Dungia had them, had a bunch, and it was always, we had to create, if you wanted to do something like pleat, top tab pleat,
we had to create some kind of
band
at the top in order to pleat that. It's like, I hear myself in my ear, but that's okay.
I just heard you through my earphones too, but that's fine. Okay.
So we're really happy with the way that this project turned out. What was cool about this project was that the design team decided to add all these doors and windows in so the client could really appreciate the view, and you could see the black ceiling, and fabric just complemented that view and the decor in the room.
And that's a black ceiling?
Yeah.
Is it like mirrored?
I don't think it's mirrored. I think it's just painted black.
Okay. It looks like it's mirrored or lacquered or something.
It's probably, if I know Charles, it's probably lacquered. Yeah. So
cool. All right. So my next project is actually very similar to yours. It doesn't have quite that design in the fabric. Yours kind of had like a floral pattern in the way. This one it's just like a fishnet. So the designer for this project was Michelle Plachter Design in Philadelphia. She's a brilliant, brilliant designer. If anybody who is listening that went to IWCE, we won the award for draperies and curtains category. And if you remember, there was a very sexy naked lady in the middle of the living room. That's her project. And it's actually the same house. She did the whole house, and her entire designs, I mean, not all of them, of course, depends on the client, but like the word that comes to mind to describe it is sexy. Just amazing. So anyway, so that's Michelle's team, and these are the curtains, draperies. This is the first picture that you saw showed the kitchen, and this is the adjacent family room open floor concept. So complete mesh fabric. And the challenge here, in addition to the pleat, like you were saying, which we also mitigated by adding a small band at the top, and that's how we were able to pinch it and ultimately put drapery pins inside. But our challenge with it was the length, actually. And the reason that the length was an issue is because you can see here, there is a 5-inch band that the designer wanted to add at the bottom of the drape. And what happened was it's not enough that the mesh fabric just completely stretches from its weight, but the double hemmed band just completely stretched it out and totally fell on the floor. So we ended up taking these back, cutting off the band, hanging them, and doing everything, adding the band in our shop while the drape was hanging, and doing everything in its like hanging state. So here you can see kind of the close-up of the fabric, and you can see that 5-inch band and what happens to it to a drape like that, even though it's only one width of fabric, it's not a whole lot. It wasn't that tall either. I think it was like 8 or 9 feet or so. But the weight of that black fabric, and it actually, it wasn't even all that heavy, but still, because of the meshy nature of the fabric, it just completely stretched it out. So we ended up cutting it off and adding it a new, just completely brand new, while the drape was hanging. And there were quite a lot of drapes in that whole open space concept. So I remember we had to do it like on the weekend. It was all hands on deck. My seamster was in, I was in. We were just really, really sweating this job. And this was one of the most complicated jobs we have ever installed. And we actually had another mesh fabric that we installed recently on a 2-story family room. And the way we handled that one in terms of length is we hemmed it on site. And that is something that we had told our designer from the very beginning. And we put it into the pricing, we put it into our specs. We said that we're going to finish the drape from the top, on the sides, everywhere, but the hemming of it will actually be done on site so that we can hang the drape, it can hang there, we can, have the weight of it be completely, what do you call it, like manifesting. And
let the weight of it just take the light.
Exactly, because when you table these fabrics, it's very deceiving. There's no way you can figure out the length of this fabric while tabling. It has to be done hanging. That's what we had to do. So you guys, the takeaway, if you have a meshy type of fabric, anything that looks like a fishnet or any kind of netting, you want to add the banding at the top so that you can do the pleats and you can insert your pins into, and you need to do the length while the drape is hanging. You can, if your shop can do it at the shop, that's great. But it's also okay to do it on site. The second project that I'm referring to, that was a really big project for us, 2-story family room, really fancy custom home. And we just started from the very beginning saying, if this is the fabric that you guys are picking, we're going to hem it on site. And it turned out quite, fine. It was, truly custom. We explained to the customer that everything is done to their specifications, and it's okay that they see sometimes how the work is actually getting done. And it was very interesting for them, and even added a little dimension to the whole project.
I also think that shows your level of detail, the fact that you're going to hem it on site to make sure that the length is right, especially knowing how springy the fabric is. Like, fortunate for us, the fabric that we designs, it was not a very springy fabric. It just,
Oh, wow.
like that's where we were, because I don't know what the context of it is, like what it's made of, but it's 100% polyester. So there wasn't a lot of spring. It's just that it's just a bunch of strings like glued together. So that's how the fabric is. So I don't think that having you guys go there on site, I just think that just shows the level of detail
that you and care that you go into every single one of your projects.
Right, and the level of dedication and perfection and wanting to get it done. Now, of course, we have the fabrication component in-house for Vitalia Inc. Not everybody has that. Like some people send their stuff out. So you may not have that. So you just have to be very, very careful, I suppose, in maybe checking it up front ahead of time if you have that opportunity, or having your workroom send you pictures with measurements, like actual pictures with tape, and showing you exactly where the length, like showing the length of the drape. But I think there should be a lot of checking. Now, in this situation where it dropped like that, we knew it was going to drop, and we wanted to see how it's going to behave, and we set that expectation. And this was an install that wasn't like a one-day in and out reveal kind of thing. This went over many days, maybe even weeks, actually, because it was a full house. So it wasn't that big a deal that we brought them in, they laid on the floor, we took them back, made them right, and brought them back. That was kind of like part of the scope of the project. But I really learned on this one because this was our very first time doing mesh fabric, and it's very popular right now. For some reason, a lot of our designers are specifying this type of fabric, maybe it's just a Northeast thing. I don't know. Jill, if you're still online, let us know if that's something that you guys are doing down south. If we have anybody from California, let us know if that's happening on the West Coast too. But here on the East Coast, those open weaves fabrics are very popular right now. And so when it's springy like that, our policy right now, our process, I should say, is to hem them on site, especially if it's a 2-story, like in the example that I just gave.
It's a lot of gravity and a lot of weight.
A lot of gravity, exactly.
Okay, so this is a project. This is actually Luann's house. So this is a project.
I remember
it. It's the ceiling full drapes.
And
it doesn't look like a difficult fabric. However, it's fabric that has a lot of
well, because it's natural fabric,
Yes. So the difficulty with that
is we didn't know how much this fabric was actually going to like grow.
So this is a photo shoot that we did for Design New Jersey. And
a very hot, humid day in August when the photo shoot happened. And when we walked into the room
to style it before the photography
got there, the drapes
were on the floor about an inch.
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
So in panic, we decided that we were going to turn the air conditioning up to try to cool the space to get the drapes on the ground a little bit. But that's the thing with these
very springy
fabrics.
We have a lot of
designers right now that are using this kind of springy sheer that we kind of have to take that into account. So
we are looking
at the sample and
like,
oh, this really
move. And the minute we steam it, it's going to drop
a lot. So we take that to an account when we're working on like our drapery deduction. And so if you want to end up under the crown and the space, then we might raise the rod on site a little bit.
If we see that the fabric's going to be super,
or we
make
a little bit more
reduction, knowing that the minute that it gets some steam, that it's going to, sometimes they grow and they don't come back up. That's the other thing too.
So how do you know, Kim? Like, this is a really, I think, difficult situation. At least we find ourselves in it quite a bit with a lot of linen fabrics and wool fabrics, anything that stretches like that. We also try to give it additional deduction too, but we never know exactly how much. Like, what's addition? Is it a 1/4 of an inch? Is it a 1/2 an inch? Is it an inch? And we never know whether it's going to grow or not.
Right. So that's where we take the risk, like or the guessing game almost. And that's what I tell people too.
And the designers, like when you're dealing with a natural fabric like this, especially a linen, get ready to grow and shrink. Like there's no amount of deduction that we can do that it's not going to either sometimes
be on the floor and sometimes just be off the floor.
Right.
So that's
we kind of go into
that from the get-go and set those expectations.
Yeah. We try to do the same thing. I think linen fabrics, I mean, we say linen because that's the one that's very, very popular right now, but really any natural fabric, like wool being one of them. There's no way to know. We don't have the magic ball. We don't have the crystal ball to know whether it will grow, because some linens grow and some don't. We have had situations where linen did not grow an 1/8 of an inch. It was just a complete miracle. We were stunned. And when they do grow, there's no way for us to know by how much it will grow. So it's just one of those things. I would just think
also be careful applying a lead edge.
Yes. You can get that hike up at the bottom.
Exactly, and have that little smiley thing, which I hate, and we get that as well, and it's something that I battle with all the time. So the struggles are real.
Yeah, and there's really nothing we can do about it. Like I had to say to a designer over the week, we were doing a big install, and the fabric was just acting a little funky.
It was on a Roman shade, and it was kind of coming
in a little bit. And I'm like, it's fabric.
Yeah.
About it, if you really take a step back and you think like, oh, we're asking fabric rolled up nicely, perfect.
Right.
Every time it goes up and down, over 90 inches. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to
so
ask.
sometimes, you know,
Like perfectly crisp. It's not 100% cotton.
especially with some of these linen blend fabrics.
Yeah, so speaking of linen fabrics, so this is a project that we did a couple of years ago for for Rose Zaffarino, Zidoma's design. And we actually, this was a linen blend, which usually behaves really well. Any time you have a polyester blend with linen or wool or whatever, you have higher chances of success. That's what I find. And this was I believe this was a blend as well. So we installed it. Our usual deduction is 3/4 of an inch off the floor. And what happens just under the weight of the fabric, it grows by about 1/4 of an inch. So it is off the floor by about 1/2 inch to like 1/4 of an inch or so. And so we installed it, it was fine. And then I had to come back to this house for, I think, either measure something or for whatever reason. And I look at these drapes, and Kim, I kid you not, they are like skimming the floor. One of those situations where the designer tells you, I want my drapes to just skim the floor, and you're like, in Luann's words, lady, it's never going to happen. So this was one of those situations where it did happen, but I didn't mean for it to happen. The drapes just grew, and miraculously, by the will of God, they stopped at like a hair off the floor, a hair off the floor. I mean, it could have been 1/8, 1/4 of an inch more, and they would have been off the floor, and we would have had to fix them somehow. But things like that happen all the time. And again, just to reiterate how persnickety those natural fabrics are, and before you guys fall in love with 100% linen or 100% wool, just know that the expectation needs to be set that they will grow and they will shrink. And there's no way to know by how much.
And also another PSA with linen. It's going to have wrinkles.
Yeah.
No matter how much we steam it, we're not going to be able to get that wrinkle out. It's just part of the makeup of the fabric.
Right. I mean, you really have to be in love with this fabric. As a matter of fact, I have a project now, and not quite a project yet, a prospect, I should say. And the designer wants to do these 2 large drapery panels. One of them is motorized, the other one is manual. And then the entire room of upholstered walls. Kim, that's something that you and I talked about yesterday. The fabric that they chose is 100% linen. And I've said my piece. I mean, there's nothing that we can do to make them. We can't make them change their mind. We can't make them. But it is something that I've said verbally, and it is something that I am definitely adding into the invoice, into the contract, whatever it is that they sign, that there's no expectation of it being perfectly at 1/4 of an inch off the floor, that there's a possibility that it will grow and shrink, and there's a possibility that it will pucker on the walls. When I leave it, the walls will be fine, but I cannot possibly be responsible what happens to them when the air is on or when the humidity is on. Yes, get a waiver, Jill. You're right. Yep, that's exactly. When they sign my contract, that's exactly what it's going to have.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yep. So fun things. I think the biggest takeaway from today is there's lots of really, really pretty fabrics out there. Following the trends is really cool and great, and these fabrics look amazing. But the one thing that we have to be extremely careful of is to set expectations. So if you are a workroom listening to us, it is your job to set the expectation with your designer and a customer. And if you're a designer listening to us, then it is your job to listen to what the workroom says and also set the expectation with the customer. And I know sometimes it's really difficult to find the perfect fabric, and we all get so excited when we finally find it and it is actually in stock and we actually don't have to wait 8 to 12 weeks to get it. But at the same time, don't set yourself up for problems down the road, for failure down the road, where you have to have service calls back and forth because the customer is not happy that the drape is moving up and down on their floor. Yeah. Expectations is key.
100%. Alrighty, everyone. Well, that concludes today's episode. Before you go, if you are new to window treatments, Luann wrote an ebook. Architectural Digest isn't coming. 10 things you need to know about custom window treatments. So head on over to windowworksnj.com so you can get your free copy.
Thank you, Jill. You're so sweet.
Thank you, Jill.
And from Vitalia Inc., you also get a free gift. It's a curated lookbook filled with inspiration and education. We call it 37 and a half window treatment ideas for you to use, for you to steal, swipe, and use immediately, right? Steal, swipe, and use immediately on your next design project.
And to keep up with all things Miss Luann, head on over to luannigara.com where you can listen to the audio version of Window Treatment Friday Live or Tip and 10 every week.
Yes, that's right. So if you guys don't know yet, Luann started a second podcast because Lady is not busy enough. She needed to add another thing onto her plate. Poor thing. But also amazing thing. There's a podcast called Window Treatments for Profit. It is specifically for the window treatment pros, whether you are a workroom, a vendor, a retailer, or shop at home pro. This podcast is for you. I am honored and privileged to have a weekly guest host appearance. We call it Vita's Tip and 10, where every week I give you a small but mighty tip to set your business up for success. And this week's episode has to do with this little guy right here. It's a rubber ducky, and in case you're like, what does rubber ducky have to do with window treatments? Well, you just have to listen to my episode because it's quite cute, if I may say so myself.
Alrighty, and if you have a window treatment project and you're located in the New Jersey or area or you have a project that you need us to help you with, we would be happy to do so. We work on all the difficult fabrics. We love it. It's a good challenge. So please follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at WindowWorks, and you can send us a DM or email us, and we'll be happy to help you with your next project.
And if you are in the Philadelphia area and you're a designer looking for support with window treatments, please give us a call or DM or PM me or email me. We'll be happy to support you on your next window treatment project. It's nice to meet you, Hassan. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, everyone.
That concludes episode number 96. We are at the 100.
And you guys stay tuned. We're going to start promoting our episode number 100. It's going to be very interesting and exciting. We'll give out some prizes, and Kim and I will do a blind interview of each other. Oh, did you know that, Kim? That's what's on the books. Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So come join us for episode number 100 in a few weeks. But until then, we'll still be seeing you for some very exciting window treatment topics.
Alrighty, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.